Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 16. We are at the finals of the Premodern Showdown series. I am Michael Hoyp. I am joined tonight once again with Flint Espel. Say hi, Flint.
Hi, everybody.
And we have battled over 7 weeks of round robin, and we had our final week of playoffs. And tonight we will be crowning a champion for our first Premodern Showdown series, and it will be either Patrick Burt or Robin Lund. So let's quick talk about kind of how they got here. So I know Patrick had a strong start. I think he might have started 3-0 or 2-1, but I know he had a strong start at the beginning. He was in the top, and he kind of just stayed in the top four. So he was never at any real risk, I don't think. I think maybe he might have even lost his last 2 matches, but Robin's story is a little bit different. So Robin, I believe, started 0-3, and he managed to battle back through the remaining weeks and just barely squeak into the top 4. There was a chain of things that needed for Robin to happen in terms of him winning and other people losing for him to take that spot, and he snuck in with a record of 3-4, and he was able to upset the top seed of Ron Taylor on Monday. He was able to take down Ron, and so that put him in a spot of the finals. Patrick was paired up against Michael Arnold, and he was able to defeat him. So Patrick earned his spot for the finals as well. And let's go over to the decks that they have. And Flint, do you want to just talk about the differences if some people are tuning in for the first time tonight, what the difference is in terms of how the bannings and the deck works for the finals as compared to how they've worked in the past?
Sure. So for the finals, we used the same banning system. So Patrick gets to ban one of Robin's decks, and Robin gets to ban one of Patrick's decks. And then each of them decides from the remaining 2 which one they want to play. The other player doesn't know. So there's a bit of a strategizing that needs to take place here. And then they will play their first match, best of 3 games, and then after that, they will play their other non-banned deck in the second match. And then after the second match, if one of the players has won both matches, then they're the champion. But if each player has won one best of 3 match, then we will go to a third and deciding match, which will also be best of 3, where the players will play their banned decks.
Okay, and let's go over all 3 decks for each player that is available to them. We'll do this pretty briefly, as most of you are probably familiar with these decks. The Artifact Burn is kind of just a variant of Sly that has a few more artifact-based damage sources with Black Vice and Anka Mishra. So it's definitely powerful. The red decks are always really consistent in this format, and something that if your opponent's deck kind of is slow to close out the game, a lot of times you have enough time to draw enough burn spells to kill them. The Green-White Oathstron from Patrick looks to either win a quick, easy game if they resolve an Oath and then trigger it to get a creature of Spike Feeder, Spike Weaver, or ideally Phantom Neshoba. And as a backup plan, it looks to assemble Tron, and it could either cast some fatties that it gets from its sideboard with Living Wish, or to cycle a big Decree of Justice. And then finally, the blue-black Zombie Infestation. So this deck, with the namesake card being Zombie Infestation, really revolves around this. So once that's in play, it's a 2-mana enchantment. You discard 2 cards from your hand to make a 2/2 black zombie creature token. And pretty much everything in the deck revolves around having that card in play. The most notable is Squee Goblin of Bob, which will come back every turn, so it'll allow you to, over time, generate more zombies without spending extra cards. But other than that, it has a lot of interactions with Gush that can return cards, or eventually it gets accumulated knowledge that can draw multiple cards, and just looks to kind of, if it has board control, kind of increase its presence after it gets the Zombie Infestation in play. So Flint, you want to talk about Robin's decks? The first one I have up on screen is his zombies list.
Sure, and again, we've talked about these week after week, so I won't go too in depth here. But the zombie strategy involves playing lots of zombies and using cards like Shepherd of Rot and Gem Palm Polluter to force the opponent to lose a lot of life very, very quickly. On top of the aggro strategy, there's Hand Disruption, and there's also go-wide strategies using Rotling Reanimator, Lord of the Undead, and Tombstone Stairwell.
All right, the full English breakfast deck.
The full English breakfast deck takes advantage of the weird but powerful card of Volrath's Shapeshifter. Survival of the Fittest is the other key card, and arguably more important than the Shapeshifter because it'll get you a Shapeshifter. But looking to manipulate the top card of the graveyard with the Shapeshifter in play to either burn people out with a Devourer into a Triskelion combo, or a attacking in the air, most likely with something like an Acroma, and then switching it to a Phage to make the opponent lose the game.
All right, and finally for Robin is the Rock.
The Rock, really well-known deck in Old Extended and of course in this format, and arguably one of the best decks in the format. It just has answers to what opponents have in their hand. It has answers to creatures. It has answers to artifacts and enchantment. You get to play Pernicious Deed. You get to play Mana Rocks. You have life gain in the Baloth and aggressive creatures like Blastoderm. And of course, the long game strategy is the Recurring Nightmare package.
All right, so let's jump over to the ban screen. So typically when we talked about it, it's just a normal strategy of which deck you don't want to see. So I'm going to offer up, is there a potential that if let's say there's a matchup where you feel like your deck is really well advantaged and you are kind of have a read on your opponent thinking that they're going to ban a particular deck, would you ever want to, let's just say that Patrick really likes his matchup when he's playing the green-white Oathtron deck against Robin's Zombies deck. Mm-hmm. And if Patrick has an inclination that Robin's going to ban that, because that's something that might happen in a normal week, where you have one deck that's a really bad matchup, so you ban that deck. And so let's say Patrick has that idea. Do you ever, like, with the assumption that Robin is going to ban your green-white Oath deck, also ban the Zombies deck, so that way if it does go to the third match, that you have that favorable matchup?
I think that's a really good question, and some nice strategy. It just depends on whether or not you think you can get to that third match,
sure,
right? So if you think that you're, if you can set that up in a way to where you know you can win at least one of the first two matches, then it's a great strategy, right? And so I think if you're Patrick, though, it went well for Robin last time. I think Robin beat him 2-0 when they played in the league, and Robin banned the burn deck, so Robin may just ban the burn deck again, because I do think it's Patrick's best option. And so I think if you're Patrick, what you may do, if you were thinking along those lines, is which deck is the burn deck the best against, and then ban that one.
So I don't know if I'm thinking from Robin's perspective and looking at the burn deck, I think I would be okay with my full English breakfast or the Rock deck playing against it, and I don't particularly want Zombies to play against it, unless things have changed. I know Robin hasn't been very happy with his Sly versus Zombies matchup. So the thing is, so like, let's say if you do, for that case, ban the Sly deck, it almost seems like it's harder. I mean, to like line up, because like if Patrick does ban zombies, then you're forced to play that on the third match. But if you leave the Sly deck there and you're comfortable with the matchups with it against Full English Breakfast and the Rock, then I guess you only have like a 50% chance of. I guess it depends what gets banned, and then you still don't know if for sure if you're like which deck he's going to bring. So I guess it's kind of a guessing game in that aspect. But so I guess if you're going to make a prediction for Patrick, what is he going to ban out of Robin?
I think, oh man, this is so tough. I mean, I think I'm going to assume if I'm Patrick that my burn deck is going to get banned. It definitely has game against zombies, but I think it also has game against Full English Breakfast. I don't think it has great game against the Rock. But so I think if you're Patrick, you probably. I mean, if I were Patrick, I would. I'm so sorry. Oh, my dog is barking. Why don't you take it from here
Okay.
while I mute it?
All right. So I guess I am coming from a different perspective. I think if I'm Robin, I think I'm gonna ban the Oathtron deck, just because I feel like it's, if you do get that zombies matchup, it's the most difficult matchup to overcome. I think I do agree with Flint in that I think the Rock has a good matchup against the Sly deck. I think I like Full English Breakfast's matchup against Sly a little better, I guess, than Flint was leading to. So I don't think that's that bad of a matchup. I think the Full English Breakfast deck can win pretty quickly if the Sly deck doesn't do anything, and if the Sly uses a bunch of resources to kill creatures, then usually you can set up even just like getting an Acroma in play might just be enough for the Full English Breakfast. So I don't know if I would ban the Sly deck. I think if I were Robin, I'd be banning the Oathtron deck. And if I were Patrick, I don't know. I think I would try and ban the zombies deck and hope that, because and thinking that you're going to get that third matchup an advantage. I think that's kind of how I would try it, but I don't know if that's exactly how it's going to play down. All right, Flint, do you want to look up what they've actually banned, and then we can just talk about like which deck you would bring?
Sure. So let me pull it up. So it looks like Patrick banned the Rock.
Okay.
And Robin banned Oath.
Okay. So, well, first of all, chat wants to know what the dog thinks. What does Early think?
Early thinks that he would have banned the Rock as well.
Okay. Which Premodern deck would be a dog's favorite deck of these ones?
Of these ones?
Yeah. I'll just go with Full English Breakfast because it has the word breakfast in it.
Yeah, probably. That makes sense.
I don't know. I guess zombies. I guess zombies don't necessarily. They're not skeletons. I was say if it were like a skeletons deck, then maybe the dog would really like that.
Yeah, or a squirrels deck.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Anything with deranged tournament might be something that the dog likes. Okay, so if these are the bans, what deck are you bringing for the first match? Do you think?
I think I bring Burn.
Okay, I was gonna bring Zombie Infestation. I guess does it matter? I guess is it just at that point it's just a coin flip, right? I guess because your second deck is decided, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay,
yeah.
So let's jump over to our match. You want to let them know the players that they can begin?
I will let them know.
We will discover what deck they are playing. Let me flip around Patrick's screen. Okay. And I believe that, so they did do a die roll for the finals to determine who plays first. And I believe Robin won the die roll. Is that correct?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Robin will be on the play. And this
right,
full.
so
I thought
like he's on Full English.
Yeah,
Breakfast.
for a second there I thought that was the Rock. I'm like, I thought we said that was banned. Okay. All right.
There's Burn.
All right. Let me update these.
So you think this matchup is actually closer for Full English Breakfast than I do, so we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. And that's not as much from experience, but more from theory, I think. So that Mog Fanatic immediately got rid of the Findhorn elves.
Always bolt the elf.
Uh,
So there's the survival. It's pretty good. So if you're playing against Full English Breakfast, you want to try to choke them on blue mana if you can, and slow them down. That's the way to win.
And the one thing that is absent from Patrick's deck
Ooh, he takes the Llanowar Wastes.
that is normally in red decks is Jackal Pup, and that is not present in Patrick's list. So that's usually like a recurring source of damage that's really good, but it's not in Patrick's deck list. So yeah, so yeah, we were just talking about keeping him off of blue sources because then sometimes it's pretty hard to cast the Volrash Shapeshifter, but here it looks like Patrick's trying to cut off presumably the green mana is what he's thinking.
Yeah, he doesn't want him to activate survival, which I think, it makes sense. But in the end, if you can keep the Full English Breakfast player off of blue,
Well, because
it just blanks him.
eventually the survival deck will draw another green source. It is possible that you can keep him off double blue.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. If you can stop him from casting that shapeshifter, it'll go a long way.
Yeah, because there's not too many blue sources, and you're able to interact with like the Birds of Paradise. So
Second Wasteland.
Which set was Shapeshifter from? Stronghold?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we got that one up. All right, what do we have for life totals?
So I think Robin is at 17 and Patrick is at 20 still.
Okay.
And Mike Arnold's pretty pumped because we're going to see zombies versus zombies.
All right. The gem palm polluters are just drooling.
Oh my god. And the shepherds.
Yes.
I guess Robin shepherds. But
yeah.
Patrick doesn't run the polluters, does he?
In his zombie infestation deck? No.
No, he doesn't, right? There's no reason to.
The only creature is Squee. Yeah.
Whew, that's gonna be a brutal polluter. So Robin getting the Great Well here. So it's a really nice interaction. If you're not familiar with Full English Breakfast, you can discard the Great Well, and then when you play your Shapeshifter, it comes into play as a Great Well. So you get to untap all your mana, and you're very likely to win at that point. The other thing here is Robin also has a Squee, which is what he discarded to get the Great Well. And so now he's got recurring survival activations, presuming he has green mana, which he should, because there are a lot of green sources in the deck.
Yeah, so kind of at this point, like, he's definitely saying, okay, Patrick, you need to start pressuring me, otherwise, if the game keeps going long. I mean, this is also the assumption that Robin has mana, which I guess he's being kept off of. But with each turn goes by, he's able to basically get a new creature because of survival and Squee.
Yeah, it's tough here, and I think if Patrick were on the draw, this would be a little bit more in his favor. But the fact that he's, trying to catch back up with Robin's mana and also not applying the pressure like you're saying, means that Robin, despite losing some lands, is obviously still very much in this game.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Patrick really hasn't played. He's played 2 spells, right? It's just been Grim Lavamancer and Mog Fanatic, and then it's been Wasteland. So he's got a bunch of cards in his hand, but he's been using his land drops and his mana to Wasteland Robin's sources. So
exactly.
Not that he has too many recurring sources of damage, because I mean it's like Ball Lightning. It would be Black Vice and Anka Mishra, but Anka Mishra would also kind of be troublesome for Patrick at this point because he still needs to play some number of lands. But
so Robin's going to 15 to cast a Cabal Therapy. What do you name here?
I guess it might depend on what is in your hand. Like, it could be a bolt if you're trying to protect a creature, but otherwise, if you think the games are going to go really long, maybe you're just naming like Sulfuric Vortex. I'm not 100% sure. Do you have an idea of what you would name?
Maybe Black Vice?
I mean, not Black Vice. He would have cast a Black Vice, right? Like he just left a mana open and attacked with Grim Lavamancer. Like it has to be pretty unlikely that is a black vice from that spot, right?
Yeah, that's fair. So he names Incinerate and gets Incinerate.
He named it Incinerate. Okay.
Looks like Premodern's turtle expert says nothing better than zombie versus zombie. The only thing better than zombie versus zombie is Sly losing.
Okay.
And Mike Arnold says he does like Robin's chances tonight. It seems like the decks are pretty good matchup versus Patrick.
No, I don't. The thing is, he doesn't necessarily miss a damage because he still has, like, if he just did it this turn, if the game goes long enough that he's able to use those activations, then he didn't really miss out the damage.
So a third Wasteland.
Yep. So
Patrick, wow.
And that could be one of the reasons why he did attack that turn, because he was expecting the games to go pretty long, because he has, I guess did he have a Wasteland in his hand, or did he just draw that? Yeah, he must have, because the other card's face down. So, all right, so
Robin is active. He activated the Gemstone Mine in response, and again, he takes out the mine. He's trying to keep him off green mana, but I mean, the mine's going to die eventually, right? Like, would you go for the mine in this situation, or would you have hit the Underground River?
I mean, I guess because I think I would go for the Underground River, because if he has to use it to play and cast spells, like the spells you're probably worried about most right here are things like Mana Elves and those can be answered with the Grim Lavamancer. So I think I would be going after the mana source that would stick around.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, right? If he casts a bird or an elf, you just bolt it, you hammer it, you Lavamancer it, and he's gonna have to be using the mine.
Yeah, and even if he does have another land after that, like, you're still probably using, like, anytime you're tapping out, you're going to be using a Gemstone Mine counter, and there's a limited number of activations basically you'll get out of it.
So he discards the Squee and he gets the Achroma. Gets the Squee back. Now, if we just see a pass here, that bodes super well. Well, it's good news for Patrick, but there's the Yavimaya Coast. So end of turn, he's going to Lavamancer Robin down to 13. A fourth Wasteland. Take out the river, Patrick. Please take out the river. No, he takes out the Yavimaya Coast.
Why do you want him to take out the river at that point?
Because I'm tired of it.
Oh, well, I mean, they both make blue mana, so...
No, it's the coast. So 4 Wastelands.
Yeah, that's a good way to slow someone down, especially with a deck that has a ton of non-basics.
That's right, Aaron. Super legit. Alright, so he discarded the Squee. We're waiting to see what he gets.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, so what cards how many times has he activated Survival? I saw him get a Chroma at one point.
He's got an Achroma, a Great Whale.
Okay.
There's one other one that I can't think of.
He got Squee at one point, right?
I think maybe he had Squee in his hand.
Oh, okay.
Because the only other creature in the graveyard right now is a Fenhorn Elf, and that was
sure.
Mog Fanatic, right?
Yes.
Chad, did we miss another creature? What was the third creature?
Yeah, I think it was in his hand.
All right, so now he's getting mana rocks. So presumably he has another green source in his hand. Yeah, Jared, this is a weird game. I don't think Full English Breakfast runs Wall of Roots, Ryan. Um, it's more of a rock and survival
I've seen lists that play it.
welder.
I've seen lists that play it. But I don't think he does. I think he just has 2 Wall of Blossoms. All right, so we see a Birds of Paradise coming off of a gemstone mine. Okay, so this was an attack from the Grim Lavamancer.
So Robin's at 11.
Yes. So Robin has never missed a land drop, right?
Nope.
So I guess against all the wastelands, I guess it's okay to draw a bunch of lands.
So if Patrick can't disrupt Robin's mana, then Robin can end a turn, discard the Great Well to get a shapeshifter, and then he could win that next turn.
So the shapeshifter, yeah, well, yep, because even if it is if there's only one land in play, then yes, because he wouldn't be able to get rid of the 5/5. So an end of turn bolt is pointed at Robin. Yeah, so the sequence would be play shapeshifter. It would untap up to 7 lands. So you'd untap 3, and then he'd be able to. He would
discard Necroma.
Discard a Chroma, attack, discard Phage. Or go get Phage and discard it.
Go get Phage, yeah.
Alright, so I mean now I guess with one land only having, or you're not as worried about Fire Blast. So that makes things a lot easier for Robin. And even just not having the combination of Bolt and Grim Lavamancer. So basically, if you're staying above 3 life, you should be okay.
Yeah. So he's got a shapeshifter in his hand because he just went and got the Phage. So it should just be shapeshifter or Chroma Phage.
Yep. So
disruption against combo is good, but disruption along with pressure against combo is best.
Yeah, so like the difference if that Grim Lavamancer was like a Jackal Pup. Obviously, both Sly and Patrick's version run Grim Lavamancer, but 2 damage instead of 1 every turn would be enough. So here's a sequence. So yeah, Volrash, Shifter, Phage, or Acroma into Phage.
Yep. So, not the other way around.
Yes.
That would be bad.
You might be able to still. I guess no. I was gonna say you might be able to get Psychotog still, but if you exile the Phage, then no. Okay, let's go to the sideboarding screen and see if that will change anything for this matchup. So we're looking at the Artifact Burn deck. I bring in Pike's Progress. That card seems good.
Yes.
So Pyroblast only hits Shapeshifter, right? Yeah, I don't think that does enough. Would you bring in Pyrostatic Pillar
I
against
mean,
the full English breakfast?
countering countering a shapeshifter is very good though, right? Like if you keep countering the shapeshifter, the only way he has to bring it into play is the like the one on Earth.
Yeah, but like if that's your, I mean, I guess you still will have pressure, but Robin, I mean, unless he's taking out his Cabal therapies, will have a way to. He could, like, if he understands that's what Patrick's game plan, he can just wait till he gets a Cabal therapy and name
Yeah,
Pyroblast.
that's
But
fair.
you might not have the luxury of waiting to do set that up. So
You were asking about Pyrostatic Pillar.
yes,
I don't like it as much. Um,
I mean,
well, I guess is there something that in the main deck that's not good that he would bring it in instead? Because really, all Robin has to do is get a survival into play, and then get his lands to critical mass, and then he just kind of wins,
on the
right?
draw, I don't think Black Vice is good enough. On the play, it might be, but um, I don't know. It just
So
seems like there's
James Smith's in chat is saying Pyroblast is probably better than Curse Scroll. What do you think about that?
um, I don't know. I don't like super narrow cards in the slide deck. I don't know. I just want my cards to deal damage.
That's fair.
I feel like the more that you bring cards like that in, then you end up losing games that you might have won otherwise. And especially because it's like, I don't know. It's not like Pyroblast is just a trump for the full English breakfast. It can be played around, and there might be sequences is like if you don't have it right away and there's a shapeshifter in play and you draw the Pyroblast later, it's not going to do what you want because of the ability on shapeshifter. So I don't know. Yeah, I definitely bring in Price of Progress. That'd be the first card I bring in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would definitely take out two scroll for two price. It's just would you take out the other two scrolls for two Pyroblasts or pillars or two pillars?
Yeah, I mean the pillar because there are a lot of inexpensive cards, but if it comes down late, like the comboing off portion doesn't require a lot of spells. So I don't know if pillar is a card I would need, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not sold on pillar. I think I would, if it were me, I would probably bring in two Price of Progress and two Pyroblast is probably what I would sub for the Curse Scrolls.
Okay. So the full English breakfast, I see 4 chill in the sideboard. I have to imagine. Okay, all right. So
Okay,
that makes
actually, let's bring in that. Let's
okay.
bring in that third Pyroblast.
Yes. Okay. That makes the Pyroblast appealing enough.
Oh
I
God.
was not considering that card, but
Yeah, yeah. Let's take out an Anka Mishra and put in a third Pyroblast.
I don't think you need. I mean, Naturalize has a lot of targets, at least in the main deck with Curse Scroll, Black Vice, Anka Mishra, and Sulfuric Vortex. Is that a card you're looking at?
I don't think so. Um, because, well, I don't know. Let's see. What would you take out? Let's see. What's bad in this match? Anything?
Mesmeric Fiend, maybe.
Maybe.
That's probably the worst card because it's like it doesn't interact that well and is like pretty easy to remove. Like I don't. I think that's probably what I'd be taking out. The question is like, is there? I guess you don't need to take out that. Like I was gonna say, taking out too many creatures is bad, but when the first card you get usually is Squee, then that's like a guaranteed creature like every turn. So that's probably not an issue. I don't know.
You could you could take out one Mesmeric Fiend for a Monk Realist, I think, because there could be some number of you know enchantments you're worried about, and in Patrick's deck certainly is there's the Sulfuric Vortex, but also he may bring in the pillars. We don't know. There's the potential, and I do think that a, um, a realist is probably better than a fiend. And then I think after that you got to decide what you're going to do with those chills, right? So if he's going to bring in 4 chills, does he just board out the 3 other fiends and then a Finhorn Elf? Does he? Oh, how about this? Do you take out your mana rocks in this
Oh,
matchup?
you could take out Manowar. You take out Manowar for sure, right?
But yeah, I would take out Manowar. So
Um,
maybe it's Manowar for realist, and then I actually like that even more. And then, so you got your 4 chills. Do you just swap out all 4 fiends? Or do
I
you
think
think you would
so.
take out some number of mana rocks?
No, I like the I like the Birds of Paradise and the Findorn Elves still. I think, but
Some people in chat are saying they're not in love with therapies. I hear you, chat, but I think, Mike, you made a good point earlier in that therapy is a way to play around Pyroblast, right?
yeah,
So if you've got that shapeshifter in your hand, you worry about Pyroblast, therapy really does open the window for you.
yeah. All right, let's jump over the game, and
Okay.
we can deduce maybe from the gameplay what they brought in. So, um, do you think? I mean, I have to say that Robin feel like having 4 chill probably gets more of an edge from the sideboard cards.
Yeah.
But I don't. It's not like
Those price progresses are very good.
that's true too.
The problem is just Full English Breakfast can kill you so fast. But the way it does it is with the mana rocks.
Mm-hmm. You mean the mana dorks?
Yeah, sorry, I always call them mana rocks, but you're
Yeah.
right. Dorks technically.
Yeah. So Price of Progress definitely would be a card that really could be impactful. But then also, yeah, Chill from out of Robin is a card that could make things be really clunky. I mean, we saw. I mean, partially of Patrick's own doing, he never had more than 2 lands in play. So under a chill, that's going to be really difficult to do anything. Okay, so Patrick gets to be on the play. It looks like he is set aside a card. So I'm presuming that he has mulliganed once, but then keeping his six cards. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to the Robin shuffling if he is also mulliganing or if he was just maybe slower to sideboard. I know some of the things that Patrick was talking about in the pregame stuff of him doing his preparation was like sideboard guides or whatnot. So he definitely was looking at the different permutations of what decks he could play because obviously he knew what deck he was going to ban. So he was going to say, okay, I could play one of and he knew which deck got banned as well. So I guess he would do it after he knew. So he says, okay, I have 2 decks available. I'm going to play against 2 decks. So if I'm bringing Burn, this is what I would board against Full English Breakfast. This is what I would board against Zombies, and then vice versa with the other decks. So he definitely did some preparation and planning in terms of what he wanted to do. So it was
Yep.
pretty interesting to hear kind of the thought process of that, what he went through.
All right, Robin with the therapy, but at least he knows what Patrick's playing.
Yeah.
So, what do you name? Pyroblast, Lightning Bolt.
Uh, I would not name Lightning Bolt. I don't think. I don't think I would name Pyroblast either because you could get it with a flashback. Um, I guess maybe you could name Lightning Bolt, but that or Fireblast. I mean,
You said Fireblast.
yeah. I don't know. All right. Well,
Oh wow.
so we see 2 Incinerate and 2 Pyroblast. So um, he didn't name Incinerate this time, I guess.
Here come the beats. Fanatic beats. Thanks for the praise, Caffeinated 22, Aaron. Appreciate it. It's been fun doing it. So I'm glad that a lot of you are enjoying it.
All right.
And to turn Incinerate.
Yep. So Robin did not play anything. He did not have a land. So definitely seems like he's in trouble, and especially like with a Mog Fanatic in play. Oh, and a Black Vice makes things
Black
awkward
Vice. Yeah.
too. A Mog Fanatic be able to take out like a Birds or a Llanowar or a Findorn Elf. So I have to think that Patrick is pretty heavily advantaged.
Yeah. I thought he was going to turn the Vice sideways there for a second.
He could do that. It's kind of like attacking.
So Robin's down to 10.
Oh.
And he's about to be down to 7. I'm guessing in turn incinerate here. Yeah. Yeah, I think this one's probably over.
Yeah, I mean, the full English breakfast is fast, but I don't think it's going to be able to pull out from this one.
Oh, wait. He does take out the river this time.
Okay, well, we always made a house rule when I was little that if you didn't have any permanents in play, you weren't allowed to talk. So. All right, so the red deck went smashy smashy.
He had the chill and the river, and that's what he kept. And a fiend. Yeah.
But see, now Robin just let Patrick know that he boarded in chill, though.
Well, I think it's probably a given.
Yeah, I'm joking, but he did show he did show him a mesmeric fiend, so that was a card that I wasn't sure that would stay in. But I don't think that changes any information in terms of Patrick's perspective. But
sure. All right, so they're going back to the sideboards here. Do you change anything if you're on the play? If you're Robin?
I don't know. I guess I would have to see how he sideboarded to begin with. But
maybe you bring in the duress.
I mean, I guess
didn't already.
I don't know.
He definitely brings in the spore frog, right?
I mean, it's good against ball lightning, I guess, but no, I don't think I bring it in. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if your game plan really changes. I mean, I think chill obviously gets better. I mean, you could make an argument of duress, because if your plan is you want to either turn 1 Cabal Therapy or duress and name Pyroblast, and then on turn 2 name chill. I can see that as a line of something you want to do, but the problem is is duress worth being in your deck when you draw it on turn 6?
Clears the way in the instance of a Pyroblast.
Yeah.
Which he knows that Patrick boarded in.
I saw Tormod's Crypt and I'm like, we hadn't talked about that one, but I was looking at the wrong deck list, so.
It looks like we have a survival player taking umbrage with our Spore Frog jokes.
Oh, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I just don't think it would be a card I would bring in.
I think Ryan's just joking.
Oh. Oh, we got conflicting arguments. Someone defending the Spore Frog and someone condemning the Spore Frog. All right. So
I think Spore Frog and Push Up Lizard are going to run for the presidency. They're going to be some late candidates.
Yeah. I know who I would vote for, but.
All right, they're shuffling up here.
There is a vice presidential debate. I don't know if it ended already, but it's funny. Patrick was the first one to jump in on the Whereby call, and he was asking if I was watching. So, and Patrick's a Canadian, so it was kind of funny that he was tuned into the debate and I wasn't. So, I probably will watch some summary or read some articles about how the debate went. I don't know. I think actually the vice presidential debate might be more interesting than the presidential one.
Agreed.
All right, we'll move off of politics. That might be a a hot topic, but. Okay.
So Patrick's keeping and Robin.
Are they waiting for you to say go? They might be.
Cool. All right. Looks like they're ready. Good start there. The bird. Oh,
Mog Fanatic the bird.
there's the chill.
All right. Uh, so, oh, but then a curse scroll. Okay.
So he kept him in.
Yeah, that is also an awkward interaction because chill's going to be clogging up the red player's hand. So it makes curse scroll a lot less effective because you won't hit on it very often. I'm assuming that the cards will be stuck in your hand. So
this is exactly the start that Robin wants, right? So he plays the bird, pretty much assuming it's going to die, right?
Yep.
And then once the coast is clear from a pyroblast, drops the chill, follows it up with survival. Pretty strong.
Yeah. Having survival is a really good follow-up because it's his best way to like close out a game.
Oh, and he discards a Hypnox.
Ooh, so that was one I wasn't sure about talking because I just thought like most of the time in spots where you could shapeshifter into Hypnox, a chroma would kind of like be pretty similar, but having an 8/8 that removes a hand is pretty cool. It does.
He could just end the game right here.
Sure, it does. It does make Patrick's curse scroll a little better though. But I think the 8/8 will be able to clock the curse scroll.
So it tells me that 8/8 will be fine.
Yeah.
So this is end a turn, right? So if he just gets a shapeshifter, plays a land, and drops a shapeshifter,
and there's
just good games.
There's nothing he has. Yeah. Well, he can't cast a shapeshifter right now. He needs another blue source.
I mean, he has to drop a blue source.
Yeah. So that could be a consideration. He's like, oh, okay, I don't have the blue source in my hand. Because I think if you have the blue source in your hand, it's pretty easy. But if you don't, you're going to say, do I get the shapeshifter now and just have a whatever 15% chance of just drawing a blue source? Or is there, like, do I get squee so that I can start chaining it?
Yeah, if he doesn't have the blue source, he gets squee.
Okay.
So it's not game over for Patrick yet.
But yeah, it's still looking pretty rough. I think Patrick's thing, what he needs to do is probably play a land and Pyroblast the chill. But I guess, I mean, at that point, would you hold Pyroblast for like the shapeshifter? Because when it's on the stack, it's not a cop. Yeah, it's still a shapeshifter, so Pyroblast will still get it.
It would still counter it, yeah. So untapping here. Oh, he has the sword blue source.
All right.
Uh-oh. Goes to 17. That's shapeshifter mana.
Well, he could discard the squee if he didn't.
No.
So.
All right. Wow.
So here's an 8/8. All right.
Yeah.
And Patrick says, "No, I will not show you my hand." All right.
I will not give you the satisfaction, sir.
Yeah.
All right. So that's match number 1.
So that
goes to Robin. 2-1.
Okay. So let's. I'm gonna jump quick over to our ban screen because we had the Oathtron and the Rock deck banned, and now we had full English Breakfast and the Sly deck have been used. So now that leaves us with the zombie infestation against zombies. So this will be pretty cool. I don't know, are the players ready? I don't, because in theory they might have some overlap between their decks that they have to switch out cards. I think Robin might. If you just want to message them and say like if they could, I guess they're decyboarding too. So we'll just talk about the decks in the matchup real quick.
I just let them know to shuffle up their next decks and get ready to play the next one, and we'll let them know when to start.
Yeah. So I have the zombie infestation deck up. So do you think this is a favorable matchup for Patrick playing against the zombies deck with this blue-black zombie infestation?
Not really.
I would say I actually think it's pretty troublesome because
Yeah.
if you're able, the zombies deck has enough interaction in terms of hand disruption with Cabal Therapy and Duress that it might be able to steal a zombie infestation. But if you don't, you might be able to take a counterspell. And if you're just able to put 2 zombies into play pretty quickly, and Patrick doesn't have a zombie infestation right away, then Robin's dealing 3 to 4 damage every turn just from the cards that he has in play, which Patrick doesn't have a very good way of dealing with once they have resolved. And even if the game gets to a point where Patrick does have a zombie infestation, there's still a lot of cards he has to worry about, like especially Gem Palm Polluter. Like it's a very tricky dance for you to say, like, how much do I need to commit with it, as how many zombies do I need to play without fear of just getting cycled out. So yeah, it definitely is a very awkward tension from Patrick's perspective, and it seems like it's going to be pretty difficult. And looking at the sideboard, there's not really anything that's that appealing either. There's no infest type card or any way to kind of gain from a fallen board position that you've lost.
He's not running Portcullis. That's what he needs.
I know I've seen that card, like when I do like my deck searches for like deck brewing. I think it's like a 4-mana artifact, but I don't remember what it does.
It is. If they're like, I think it's if there's 2 creatures in play, then if another one comes in play, it like gets set aside, and once Portcullis leaves play, or if one of the creatures leaves play, then it can come into play.
Okay.
But basically, it just makes it so creatures can't enter the battlefield once there's a certain number.
Okay, so looking at the zombie deck, because if he just goes like Dark Ritual, Carnifage into Withered Wretch, then like if all 3 of those resolve, then he just has 4 power, and Patrick really has to do something from that perspective. And that's probably a slightly above average sequence of plays, but it's not anything like that's absurd. Like a lot of the cards are kind of interchangeable from that perspective.
Absolutely. And the other thing to note here is, if he can use discard to keep Patrick off of a zombie infestation long enough, and all Patrick really has to stop the zombies is counter magic, eventually Lord of the Undead's going to come down and start bringing those zombies back from the graveyard as well. And the match just doesn't really get better for Patrick as it goes longer.
Well, Robin has an Engineered Plague that he can name zombies, right?
Ooh, that's a good play.
Yeah. And then he has the Lord of the Undead to counteract it too, right?
That's right. Man, if only he had like blue mana and Sleight of Mind to alter Perish to say black creatures as well, then he'd be made.
Yeah. Yeah, so joking aside, I guess there are Tormod's Crypt if that's an angle you want to go, but I think Cabal Therapy is a card you would want. Just having more ways to name zombie infestation on turn 1 seems like something that's ideal, because the deck is just seems so reliant on that zombie infestation, and the black deck doesn't have a way of getting rid of it once it's in play.
Oath of Ghouls is just nuts good too, in terms of getting back polluters, right? Or wait, does it go to hand or play?
It goes to hand, but okay. I mean, potentially there's like 3 squeeze in the graveyard from Patrick. So, but I mean, it seems like a card that you definitely could bring in. So,
I actually think Rotling Reanimator is probably his worst zombie.
Yeah, it's kind of like we talked about it in the matchup that Robin played against Ron, where it was zombies against Stasis. That yes, cards can get countered, but like once they're in play, it's not like they're dying. So really, the only benefit of Rotling Reanimator is the interaction with Carrion Feeder and Cabal Therapy. Yeah.
Should I let them know to go ahead and get started?
Yep.
All right, will do. Match 2 of the finals. Here we go, everybody. Chat. Who do you have on this one? Is Zombies going to take it down, or is Zombie Infestation going to take it down?
I think if just looking on paper, I think the zombie deck has a pretty big edge. So
Yeah, I agree. Aaron thinks it looks good for zombies.
All right, so we see
James is a zombie for zombies as well.
a Cabal therapy, and so Withered Wretch was the name. It looks like, because it looks like he hit. So the cards
Yeah.
revealed are Dark Ritual, Carrion Feeder, and 2 Rotling Reanimators, and then a Swamp and a Wasteland. So he's going to be able to probably Ritual out a Rotling Reanimator.
Hmm.
Oh, we see a Carrion Feeder and a Shepherd of Rot that must have just been drawn. So the Carrion Feeder, I mean, I don't think it's gonna amass. I guess he has 2 Rotling Reanimators in his hand, so there could be some neat interactions of where he's actually able to play both of those. And oh, I spoke too soon. A second Cabal therapy from Patrick gets rid of both the Rotling Reanimators.
2 feeders in play.
No, one's a feeder, one's a Shepherd of Rot.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes. My bad.
All right, and Wasteland. There aren't that many non-basics out of Patrick's deck that are wastelandable.
So gonna Shepherd here. Put Robin down to 18.
All right, I'm going to hope that one of these games ends in a draw because of Shepherd of Rot, because it is each player loses life. So
Yep.
I guess that'd be a funny interaction that we didn't mention is Robin could activate Shepherd of Rot, and then before the trigger resolves, Patrick could put multiple zombies into play with Zombie Infestation to cause Robin to lose more life maybe than he had expected. But
So Aaron in the comments says, interesting strategy idea. If you're Patrick, you have to know this is the worst matchup deck to deck in this round. Do you ban this assuming he won't ban Infestation?
yeah, I mean, it's all, I think, a lot of a leveling game, because it's like, I don't know, Robin could, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to ask the players in terms of what was their ban process, if they were thinking about what their opponent was going to be banned and trying to like set up a matchup, or if they were just trying to avoid certain matchups. But yeah, so
It certainly has played out well for Robin, but I mean, think about it. If Robin had decided to play zombies first, right, then Patrick would have likely have won game 1, just based on paper at least, right?
yeah.
So the strategy still could have worked. All right, so what are we seeing here, Lord?
Looks like it. Lord of the Undead. That gets mana leaked. But still, I mean, like, as each turn goes by and Patrick doesn't have a zombie infestation, and it's almost to the point where zombie infestation doesn't do enough because of the Shepherd of Rot, it's a very tricky situation for Patrick to get out of.
He's tapping 2. There it is.
Okay. So he plays that's a second island, right? There are 2 swamps and 2 islands. It could be like a mana leak representation, but it also could represent Gush is another thing. So
So if you're Patrick, you kind of want to end a turn, Chain of Vapor, the Shepherd, and then start playing some zombies and be able to counter the Shepherd.
Well, I mean, the life totals are like actually pretty close, so you might just, you don't really even necessarily need to bounce the Shepherd, because if you look at this, so like if let's say Robin had activated the Shepherd of Rot, Patrick could put in like 3 zombies, and then if Patrick had enough cards, then Robin would never be able to activate Shepherd Rod again without drawing the game. But okay, anyways. So Withered Wretch was attempted, but Mana Leak was cast. Yep. He discards a Squee and an island to make a zombie. Yeah, it always be interesting because like Robin could like respond to the zombie infestation trigger, but also Patrick can respond to the Shepherd of Rot trigger.
So Robin taking it and going down to 12. And Attorney's going to activate the Shepherd again, so they each can only lose 3. So it'd be 9 and 7. Okay. Wait, Patrick should be at 7, right?
Yeah, I have him at 7. Because I had him at 10 and then he lost 3. Okay, so from this position, Withered Wretch is an important card because of the interaction with Squee, but I think they're figuring out life totals. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like they resolved it. Yeah, it was just weird because it's like I thought Robin had the die on 10, but then only moved him down to 8, but then moved himself down to 9. So it's not like he miscounted, like forgot that the zombie token was a zombie. But yeah, so the Withered Wretch definitely throws like a kink in Patrick's plan, because if he was planning on using the Squee with a zombie infestation over and over, he's not able to do that as long as Robin has mana up. I don't know why on screen it only shows the deck name as Zombie and not Zombies. But let me update that. Because I did type in the S. Let's see. Alright, there we go. Now multiple zombies have entered the chat. Okay. Also, I guess I didn't talk about in terms of controlling the number of zombies in play. Robin has the Carrion Feeder, which could be a really neat interaction if, let's say, Patrick's at a slightly lower life total, and then Patrick tries to discard zombies into a play to make it so that it's a draw, but then Robin's able to sack just enough zombies so that Patrick loses the game and Robin doesn't die. So that would actually be really cool that he's able to. Cool. The Carrion Feeder, I guess, is. I didn't think it would be that impactful because it's not that many creatures would be dying, and the Rotling Reanimators had got discarded. But it actually seems like this could be a position where Carrion Feeder could really be the star of the show here. I mean, I think the working man is probably Shepherd of Rot, but we'll give the hero crown to Carrion Feeder if it comes down to that.
We got James Smith in chats too. He did really well with the Zombie Infestation deck in the monthly when he played it a couple months ago, saying, Patrick's strategy really here should just be to play as many zombies as he can and try to bash in and get Robin's life total as low as possible.
Sure.
And that's what he does. He swings in for 4.
I'm trying to think how I block here. You can't put damage on the stack. That's unfortunate that you can't block with the Withered Wretch and get rid of it. And then also the Carrion Feeder is just unable to block completely. So
could you block, activate Shepherd? They both lose 5. Put Robin at 2.
Yeah, I think Robin needs to activate the Shepherd like before combat to get Patrick as low as possible, because that always gives Robin like the fail-safe of drawing the game, and he might be able to finagle a position where he's able to steal the win. I think it's pretty unlikely as long as Patrick has enough cards in hand, because Robin doesn't have a very big board presence. But I think he would want to activate this before damage. Let's see what he ends up choosing to do. He also could just Yeah, so Withered Wretch blocking a token and then taking 2, but before activating it for 5. I think that's what I would do. Oh, I guess I didn't notice the action, but Withered Wretch did exile the squee, so that will not be coming back.
Yeah, you could block and activate, right?
But I
And
think you want to. I
then
think you want to save the Shepherd of Rot in play, because
yeah, you
it.
wouldn't block with the shepherd. You block with the feeder and the wretch,
Yeah,
right?
you can't block with the feeder. It can't block.
Oh, we can't block.
So I think you just block with the one Withered Wretch, take 2, but before damage, I think you make both players lose 5. I don't think it. I'm trying to think of a sequence where. I guess Robin definitely could win through damage, but I think most likely he's just going to draw this game, unless he's not activated. If he's not
What if you
activating,
block? What if you block with a withered wretch and then you sack it to carrion feeder, and then you activate
sure, they're.
the shepherd, and so both players would lose 4, and then
But
no.
then there's another zombie token, and I mean it. I think it. I don't think it would change. It's whether what you think is better. But I think him not activating it beforehand, I think, is a mistake. Because now I think Robin might lose this game. Wait.
He's thinking.
Okay. Well, I get. I mean. All right. So they're backing up, I guess. Sure, I guess that's a card we talked about in the pregame, but haven't talked about now. Is the Gem Palm Polluter. Gem Palm. Yeah, that would be an excellent draw from Robin. And I have to imagine that that's not in his hand currently, because I feel like the combat math would probably be a lot easier. Because pretty much all you would need to do is stay alive.
So they're both at 4.
Okay. So problem is like Robin. Can he attack here? I guess if you threaten to put in a token, you could just draw at worst.
Or if he doesn't block, then he could activate the shepherd and then sack it before it resolves to the carrion feeder and win.
Sure. Yeah, like so Patrick needs to make a token here.
Yeah, he does.
I'm guessing this game will be a draw. That'll be exciting. Ooh, we get to see Wonder. I don't think it's going to be relevant, but that is a way for Patrick to maybe steal a game where Robin thinking he'd be able to block at some point, and then all the creatures just fly over and...
So he does make a token.
Yep, so we're...
There's gonna see a draw.
Oh, it didn't... Yeah.
They just messaged us. We had a draw.
All right, perfect.
Okay.
So...
Didn't Robin say he was really tired, didn't want to play late tonight?
Well, yeah, he said no slow play, but I guess that's... I don't know. That was game 1 for them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so now they do sideboard.
Yes.
But Patrick is still on the play. I'm fairly certain that that's the case. So let's bring over our decks. So the zombie decks. Are you bringing in Torment? So we looked at Torment's Crypts, Cabal Therapies, and Oath of Ghouls as potential cards. And we kind of thought that Rowling Reanimator was a little bit of an underperformer. I don't know what else. I mean, what card also doesn't seem strong enough? I don't know. And it's tough to bring in too many cards. It's weird. I feel like initially I thought that the Carrion Feeder might not pull its own weight, but there are some neat interactions that can have, but maybe it still doesn't pull its own weight.
Would you take out a Sarcomancy for an Oath of Ghouls? Or maybe Oath's just not good with Squee. I mean, but if so, maybe Sarcomancy?
I mean, maybe it just seems like being able to play like a 2/2 in the first few turns is really powerful for Robin, because a lot of the times if he can just get in some damage and then resolve a Shepherd of Rot, then he's kind of in control. And I don't know, just having those extra Sarcomancies seem like something I would want, but I don't know. I can see if you're playing for a Logger Gabe that you might not want the one drop. The thing is like it's almost better than Carnophage though, right? And because it's like,
oh yeah,
you almost are always going to have a zombie in play, and that way you don't have to pay the life. I guess it might be a little bit worse against Chain of Vapor because the token would die. I mean, I guess it's a little worse with like Tombstone, Stairwell, and Oath of Ghouls, but I don't know. There are also upsides that you just don't. If there's a zombie in play, you don't have to pay the life for the Carnophage.
Oh, you're making chat yawn, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know. I tend to, maybe I just need to mute my. I wasn't even on screen too. I guess I was too audible.
I know.
I try to mask it, but I didn't do a very good job. I mean, like Diabolic Edict is the only card I'm like really looking at, and I don't even think it's that good. I mean, Stifle maybe is a card that you want, but I don't know. I don't think it does enough. Maybe it does. Maybe it just seems like a losing battle if you're countering an activation from a zombie
I think it's good against
Polluter. Yeah, it's good against Polluter, but like against a Shepherd or Rot, it just doesn't seem like it does enough. But
agreed.
All right.
It's like they're shuffling up.
All right. So Patrick gets to be on the play again, and yeah, but I mean, I don't feel like things get much better at all for him though. All right, chat. We want to know which zombies deck are you cheering for, the mono black zombies deck, or the blue black zombies deck. I guess even normally, if you might normally cheer for the mono black one, I think everyone should be sending their energy for Patrick so he can get a third match, right? That seems.
I know. I want to see a third match.
That seems like the highest EV cheer is to help out the guy who's down 0-1. Yep, cheering for round 3. So Island, he could daze something. Would you daze a Cabal Therapy? I guess maybe if you had Zombie Infestation. Oh, okay. So Zombie Infestation looks like it was named. The cards in Patrick's hand are Mana Leak, 2 Cabal Therapies, Island, and Gush.
And no Black Source.
Yes. Which is pretty key, because I mean, if Patrick had a Black Source right there, I think I don't know if you would name turn 1 Cabal Therapy with his own Cabal Therapy, but I think you would try and name something.
Oh.
Well, he is a demolishing. Okay, so a duress takes a mana leak, or and then no, it got countered, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
He played the mana leak, and then he followed up with the Cabal Therapy, and then Patrick responded with Gush.
with Gush. So now, I mean, yeah, you definitely name Cabal Therapy there, but so we see a duress. We do see a Diabolic Edict that came in, and a counter spell. But kind of this point with Patrick only have one land, like this is where um, Robin can just slide a threat into play and then kind of just cruise. Oh well, that one doesn't apply as much pressure, but it is a good one to resolve.
So we know that Patrick has the counter spell.
Mm-hmm. But there's also like Cabal therapies in the graveyard. Like if creatures that Robin doesn't care about, he can use them to clear the way.
Second Shepherd.
I think you have to counter this, right?
I would think so. What else are you playing?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so he's countering a torment script.
Mm-hmm.
What is the thought process behind that?
I don't know.
I feel like I would rather counter the Shepherd of Rot. Because what is the torment? I mean, obviously the torment script, like, could be good in certain spots of when like Zombie Infestation and Squeak come online, but I think you kind of need to just not die to begin with, right? I don't know. Maybe Patrick's thinking there might be a situation where if these Shepherds of Rots are being activated, that both life totals go down, and he might be able to sneak a Zombie Infestation into play, and then play get a bunch of zombies in play, and just kind of steal a game.
Another Gush, but he's just slowing himself down here, and he's already played one counter, one mana leak.
Oh, so he does find a daze to counter the Lord of the Undead. So what happened? Mana was floated, and then he gushed, and then he paid for the actual cost. He paid with mana, and then so these shepherds.
They just attacked.
Okay, so, but they have been activated once. All right, so.
Yeah, so Patrick's at 16 and
Okay.
Robin's at 18.
All right, I missed something there. So okay, 16 to 18. So yeah, as long as Robin stays ahead, then I think he starts. I mean, it's still kind of tricky because you still might not want to activate the shepherds, because if you put your life total too low, you might be worried that you just die from a zombie infestation. Ooh.
Oh, 3 Shepherds.
There's a lot of festering going on here.
So he doesn't attack that turn.
Yeah, I mean, he just wants to deal 9 damage. I guess that's. Oh no, I guess it's just 6 because one's summoning sec.
Yeah.
So he could do 6 and then 9. That's 15. So he's just one short.
Wow.
Would you? I guess you can always wait. Oh, if he has one zombie, then he pretty much. If he can resolve one zombie, he just wins here, right?
He's gonna resolve Dark Ritual first, just for you.
Oh, he's cycling.
Looter.
Oh,
That's
okay.
game.
Oh, there could be a stifle. There's not. All right.
There's not.
So the mono black zombies take it down.
All right. So
I'm
going to game 3, but
kind of like
really
2.
game 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go quick grab something to drink and yawn away for off screen so no one can hear me. All right.
All right. I might grab something as well.
I'll be back. It'll only take 2 minutes. So.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like I beat Flint back to the mic. So yeah. I mean, I don't think. I don't think you change anything. I think Diabolic Edict does get a little bit better when you're on the play, but it just doesn't seem like that high impact of a card. Like there's always going to be a card that's kind of just lying around for Robin to sacrifice. So I don't know.
All right. I will let them know that they can start whenever they are ready.
That sounds good. I was gonna say I don't really have anything to add in terms of sideboarding tech. All right, let's put them both back up to 20. And Robin is up a game. He's 1-0-1 in this match. So
Indeed.
Robin's doing his best to provide a little more entertainment for everyone. I guess if he ends up winning, then he actively has provided us less content, but giving us an extra game is pretty exciting. Do you think if we would have guessed the number of games drawn in the Premodern Showdown series before we saw any of the decks, what do you think the number would have been? Because this would be the third game that we've drawn, right? Two of them were from because of time, and this one actually because of a game state.
Yeah, I mean, I would have guessed maybe one. It's funny that we had one on our very first night.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I'm kind of hoping that Patrick's able to come back from this match, but it just seems like it doesn't seem very good on paper, and then also Patrick has to win 2 in a row in order to take this one down. Patrick draws 7 cards. He's hoping that there's a zombie infestation in there and Robin doesn't get to take it out of his hand.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't realize he had mulligan twice. Okay. Does Robin have less than 7 cards too?
I didn't see him put one on the bottom chat. Did anybody pick up on that?
Just when he fanned out the cards, it didn't quite look like 7, but... Alright, Duress is going to reveal...
I want to see your hand.
A Duress, a Dark Ritual, a Gem Pump Looter, and 3 lands. I guess it depends on what your hand is, but I think I would take Duress instead of Dark Ritual from this hand. Right, there's... Yeah, that's full 7 cards. Because
Yeah, I would.
Because taking Dark Ritual from his hand, it doesn't do anything on turn 1. Because you just would go Duress. I mean, that's fine. So yeah, he does opt to take a Duress. Robin will Duress. We get to see the remaining cards in Patrick's hand. Is there a zombie infestation he's going to steal? No. I guess that's like the silver lining, right? there's still 4 in his deck, I guess. But there's no other land, so and now a Torment's Crypt is...
I'm having a bittersweet moment here because it's looking like this might be our last game of the very first Premodern Showdown series.
If Robin doesn't have pressure, then I think Patrick still can win this. And I mean, yeah, that's like decent, but still, like, you still in theory could outrace this. All right, so the attacks are coming. The Lord of the Undead. I feel like he probably is pretty excited because he doesn't get to attack that much.
Comical flop. I love the no bias cheer in chat. Well played.
Oh, so an underground river comes down, but Robin has the ability to get rid of that with Wasteland. So, okay, so is this an intuition? He's only tapping 1 blue mana. Oh, Chain of Vapor. Okay. Yeah, but even so, Without blue mana now, he's not going to be able to mana leak anything. But the Lord of the Undead is back in the hand, and okay.
Robin knows to waste the river. That's right, Aaron.
Yes.
Always waste the river.
And a swamp comes off the top, and Lord of the Undead comes down. So Robin paid a life for Carnophage, but then Patrick's going to take 3 now. So now there's 5 damage in turn. So Patrick's now he's definitely on the back foot. I see a hard time of him coming out of this one. So all right, turns are going by quick.
Down to 11 or down to 8.
Mm-hmm. And he's adding a Withered Wretch to the board. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So that's 8. Yep, that's not enough unless there's a zombie infestation. I don't think there's any card that. Oh, Diabolic Edict is the only other card I can think of.
We see the thumbs down from Patrick.
He wants to Wasteland
A
first.
confused Wasteland.
Yep, and then a Cycle Gem Poem Polluter. We'll deal 3, and then so just some zombies attacking will.
Wow, that is it.
We'll give Robin the victory.
Cinderella story for Robin
Yes,
here.
very much so.
0-3 and coming back to win the whole thing.
Yeah. All right, let's jump over to their screen. We're going to unmute them, and we can hear some of their thoughts.
Okay.
No, I just kind of echoed what you said.
Yeah.
Comes back, stomps it, gets it. Well done. Well done.
I have unmuted you guys.
Yep, we have you unmuted. I
Hey, guys.
just caught the tail end of that conversation. So,
Yeah, I just said replay apparently doesn't matter.
so we want to talk about because the banning for this match was a little bit different than how it was for the rest of the series because you had the potential of playing those decks at the end.
Yeah,
and
technically not a banning; it's like a pushback.
Sure. So, do you guys want to talk about the decks that you banned and kind of what your thought process was behind it?
Do you want to start, or should I go?
Hi, Robin. You had a smarter idea than me.
Okay. So my thinking was, I looked at all the possible combinations of matchups, and I just thought, is there any matchup here which I like the test, where I feel like I'm a big dog, right? And I only found one, and that's Zombies versus Oath. So my next step in thinking was, well, will he ban zombies? Is there any chance he bans zombies, right? And thinking about it, it felt like, I don't know, the combination of the fact that he thought Rock was going to be easy for Oath last time, and it didn't turn out that way. So it's like maybe he emotionally bans Rock, but it's also just such a solid deck versus anything. Like I'm not going to have a bad matchup with that.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was less than 50% chance that he bans zombies, right? And at that point, I just have to ban Oath, because that means that I know for a fact if he
that you won't have to play zombies against Oath.
I definitely did not want to play zombies against Oath, and that will not happen if I ban Oath and he bans zombies, which I don't think, right? So then I end up with 2 decent matchups, which I did, and I got lucky. I think it would have been harder if this was zombies. I think this zombies deck is fine versus his version of Burn. Not great, but fine at least. And I think Feb should be okay versus the combo race matchup there.
I think so.
So I think but still not as. I don't know. I think I got the easier.
Yeah, I think the way that the matchups played, I think were in your favor. If it were flipped, I think they're still winnable from your perspective. But I think the advantage swings to Patrick from that point.
Yeah, exactly. And I learned from Patrick now. I asked him to drawing Air 7 for game 3, I guess it is. And I said, "Did you know Gem Palm hits both players?" And he said he found out 5 minutes before our match.
Oh.
Michael Arnold posted a comment on one of the in response to one of the announcements, and I was like, "Oh my god, it does!"
Wait, can you clarify that? Do you mean Shepherd of Rot hits both players? Or you mean Gem Pumpeler counts both zombies on both sides?
Shepherd. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean hit both. off. I mean, Gem Palm counts.
Okay. Okay.
During the match that it counts zombies.
Yeah, he learned about Shepherd during the match, so I think I got a lot lucky there. I think it's a weird matchup, like with the Lord going both sides too. But
yep,
I kept this game 3 hand because it has a Gem Palm, so it's like even if he gets some advantages, as long as I have a little bit of a board position,
sure,
and I've done a little bit of damage, then Gem Palm can just shoot him for like anywhere between 5 to 10, depending on how greedy he gets. And that's just nuts. So I try to lean on that a little bit.
Patrick, what were your thoughts coming into it?
In terms of the ban, it was really just, there is a small chance that we don't even play that deck that I banned.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's enough of the criteria to ban the overall strongest deck, and that's why I went ahead and banned the Rock.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable because we were talking a little bit in the pregame of it was kind of close to Robin's thought process, but it was almost more of from a perspective of if Patrick thought his Oath deck was going to get banned and he wanted to try and pair that up against zombies, that he would ban the zombies deck as well, hoping that the Oath deck would get banned, and if it were to go to game 3 that he would have the matchup advantage. But then we weren't sure that actually is that advantageous, because a lot of things have to happen, because like those decks do have to get banned and it has to go to match 3 for that to take place. So but it was just something that we were talking about. But
I told Patrick about that. I said that there was a chance, and I was afraid that he would ban zombies because he was going to next level my thinking and be like, oh, but obviously it's banning Oath, zombies. But my argument for still banning Oath is probably that at least I do end up playing two of my best decks. I end up playing Rock and Feb in my first 2 matches then, which is like, that feels like an advantageous position to be in anyway.
Yeah.
Now, it's Magic, so anything can happen, and then if something happens, I end up playing Oath versus Summits, and that kind of stinks. But I think that was a risk I was willing to take, especially knowing I did not think at all that he would ban Summits.
Man, that is the end. It's hard to think that it's all over.
It's over.
Sorry, chapter 1 is over.
Chapter 1 is over. Chapter 2 to come.
No, it was an outstanding, and I think the idea of banning decks has been really fun. I think with the next level and all that stuff, and I think it really gets you thinking about our 3 decks. Like I'm sure if these 8 competitors, if we would all come back in the same exact kind of format again, the decks would be radically different. The sideboards would be radically different. It would be entirely different.
It would be so inbred. We would all be ready for stasis. Everyone would have like 8 sideboard cards for stasis.
Sure.
Six crypts, 4 crypts and 2 furnaces in every deck.
Yeah.
There may be a spin on the second series that we do that we will not reveal right now, but just as a teaser, there's going to be a deck building caveat that was not in series 1 that when we do series 2.
I feel like I know what this is, and I hope it's not what you.
I think you'll like it, Robin.
You know, we've discussed different caveats before, and there's one where I'm like,
sure.
Yeah, I know.
I like to play Cabal Therapy as much as I can.
Yeah.
But I will say, I hit 40 blind. I tried 40 blind Cabal Therapists this tournament, and I obviously failed all but like 1. And then I play Patrick, and he's just like, Cabal Therapy with a dredge. Cabal Therapy, both of your rot lungs. And I was like, God damn it, he's good at this.
Yeah, that was. So.
I wish I could do that. But then I got to do it the exact game after, I guess, with therapy, the rest therapy. So.
Yeah, you named Incinerate from a position that might not have been the card I would have thought of, but I think you hit 1 or 2 copies of it. But
I hit 1 copy.
Yeah.
What would you have named?
I don't know, but like it. I mean, I think that name is fine because it's not like you're not putting him on Bolt because of he had 1 mana, but yeah, it was just.
I just Volcanic Hammer is a sorcery.
Sure.
That was like, I don't know, it just felt like the cards. The burn spells are annoying because they did disrupt my combo. That was a tight matchup. Jesus, my hand was so good. I kept 4 lands, Bob's Free Survival, and I was at 6 and almost like dying when I won that one. And then it just came together for what was it? I won 2-1, right? Or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I forgot about that game. I think that was a good 5. I had to keep that one. But, What was I saying? Yeah, the Hypnox doing work was fun because there was a last minute thing. I was like, wait, Hypnox seems really good here because he's probably gonna sit on his burn and wait to disrupt the combo. So if I can empty his hand, then I should be pretty free to do whatever I want because his deck was so not creature based compared to normal Sly.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna sit with a bunch of burn spells, and it definitely did what it should have done.
I did find it really fun. Like, I'm obviously still getting used to the pacing of how to pace a burn match. You know, I think some people were commenting in chat, like, you know, why aren't they going face?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, you know, when you're sitting on a hand with one mountain and 2 wastelands, and you pop a few birds and it's got an underground river, I think that's...
I think you played it that absolutely correctly. I mean, you kept me from going off for like 3 turns, and you kept me off green. So I had 1 pitch a turn, and I ripped 2 lands. Like, had I not ripped 2 lands there, I'm not sure what I would have done. Like, I would have probably kept trying to pitch from bobs and let you burn them, and try to like save my life total that way until I do lands. That would have been my play probably, but that would have been rough because one of my lands was a gemstone mine, so I'd lose that land at some point anyway. So, no, I think you played that correctly, but maybe Sly players in the chat disagrees. But
no, I think
my side of you, it felt like you disrupted the exact ways you had to do.
I think it makes sense because if Patrick is intending that the games are going to go along because of Wasteland, you want to attack for the times that you can get in, because obviously you have a limited number of uses out of the Grim Lavamancer. So, but then there's no guarantee if the game goes later that you're able to attack with the Grim Lavamancer. So you kind of have to predict of like how many times, like when am I going to use the last activations of the Grim Lavamancer, and that's pretty tricky because I mean you're going to play more spells, you might draw more lands, you might be using all your mana all the turn. So, but I definitely see the reason that you're like, okay, I'm going to attack now because I'm wastelanding all his lands. I'm going to have opportunities.
The only time he didn't go face was Fanatic on a Bob, which clearly is correct. No one's going to argue against that, I think. And that was a big one too. And then 1 Lava Monster activation on the Bob I fetched, I think.
Okay.
Right. So if he had shot face there, I would have been on 4 when I won, but maybe I would have won 1 turn earlier because the Bob lived. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know.
So one of the things that came up, if you guys rewatch the videos, you'll see it. But Robin, I know you and I have talked about this. Like, if you can keep the breakfast player off of blue, then that's really good. So we were thinking, you know, with the wasteland activations, it probably would have been correct to let you have 1 activation from survival early on, but take out the underground river instead, and then instead of the mine, take out the other land because the mine's going to die eventually because you're going to want to keep activating, and then you can burn out. You can lava mance any elf or bird that you try to go for. And do you guys think that would have changed the trajectory of that game?
I don't think it would have, because I drew City of Brass and Gemstone and Yavimaya Coast, so I drew 3, like the lands I drew were all blue-green lands. But I think maybe the second Wasteland, I'm gonna have to rewatch, but I think maybe the second Wasteland hitting a Underground River might have been. That's very possible. Like, just as the board position was dead, I don't know if it would have affected the outcome, but as it looked dead.
Well, and the mine would have died eventually too from using it.
Yes, but I don't think, especially if he wasted the Underground River, I wouldn't have had to use the mine as much for survival activations, and I still managed to keep it on enough counters. But I don't know. I think it's probably correct to go for the Underground, but I drew a lot of lands.
You just kept playing them like we were just like another land, and I think Mike at one point was like, has Robin missed a land drop? And I was just like, nope. And I can see Patrick like shaking his fist every time you played a land, you know.
So I kept a 4-lander, and I ended the game with 3 lands in play, I think, right? It's because I had the whale, so that means that I drew, and he wastelanded 3 times. So that means I drew 2 lands? Yeah, I only drew 2 lands. I kept the 4. Wait, it's like 6. Yeah. I kept the 4-lander, he wasted 3 of them, I drew 2. So it just lined up really well that I kept the hand with so many lands, and I could do it because I had the nuts. I had survival plus screen starting hand. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm excited to take the decks apart and move on to that pieces now. Finally.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything before we let both of you go that you guys want to talk about were there any moments, I guess, in the series that really stood out, whether it was in your games or something you watched, or maybe even like deck preparation or something? I guess something really memorable that maybe you didn't get an opportunity to talk about before.
I think it's how much I sat and thought about every week. I thought about it for the 6 days leading up to the next the game. How much I thought about their deck, how much I go through the list, how much I'm generating hands. Like I'm not as familiar as with Premodern as the rest of the guys here.
Okay.
So so it's a little bit of a struggle for me, but like that really stuck out. It was really fun to kind of have Magic on my mind and always kind of permeate.
So did you feel like that kind of preparation kind of made things more comfortable when you did play the matchups that you, I don't know if you anticipated the certain bannings going a certain way in previous weeks, but do you feel like that helped a lot?
Mostly kind of made sure I wasn't caught off guard by too many tricks.
Okay.
I think my biggest surprise and shameful not ban was versus Andrew and not banning his Enchantress deck. I was so embarrassed by how that game went, and I should have known.
Yeah.
I should 100% known that was
I do like, we talk about preparation. I mean, I had mentioned before how you're talking about going through all the permutations for tonight and kind of coming up with sideboard plans for each of the potential matches, which I thought was pretty cool. But even just like the matchup before, like I know when you were bringing in a Nulls, and that wasn't even like a card I was really like thinking about against the Hermit Druid deck, and it really made sense when you just kind of explained just like how important defense grid is, and he might be bringing in Steely Resolve, which he did, and just like the number of cards that it hit are really important, and them and giving how like condensed the games can be, that card's really important. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I like that. You know, on paper in the notepad, you're kind of easily able to kind of add one card here, subtract a card here, but like in your middle of the match, you got people watching and waiting for you to play, and it's a little bit more stress at that point in time. So I'd rather just get it out of the way first.
I did not prepare as much as Patrick. for this match, I wrote up 5 sideboard guys really quick. Although one of them, the Feb versus Intuition versus Infestation match, had the list of cards to bring in was 9 cards, and the list of cards to take out was 5, and I just gave up and said I'll figure it out if that matchup happens.
Sure. Sure.
Luckily that didn't happen, so I'm happy with that. But usually it was more like, what are you gonna ban? Someone wrote like on a Sunday night, and I'm like, oh shit. And then I banned the deck I hated the most, like Stasis or whatever. Shit decks.
Yeah, we know how you feel about Stasis.
And then I died.
So some questions from the chat. We'll just send this to both of you. Were there things that you would change about any of your decks, I guess? And then someone specifically asked, would you rebuild your deck with Tormod's Crypt in the sideboard? I guess I'm not sure which specific deck.
The burn deck, I'm guessing, had 0 crypts. It's my guess, because across the 4 decks, that was the only one.
Well, it might be directed at Patrick. I don't know if...
Yeah, and I think about crypts a lot, and I don't have crypts in my Oath deck. I play Phyrexian Furnace, and I think the problem is, and you guys have talked about it on chat before, with Feb being a problem, Feb plays around crypts. You just pitch. When you're going for Devourer combo, you just have to add one more
card, one more mana. It's usually not the end of the world. But with the pressure you put on, it can be rough. I'm going to rebuild all my decks. My Feb deck, I already have 7 cards laying in my no Magic cubby waiting to be swapped back, because I'm playing this deck in... I guess I shouldn't say this if I'm paired, but I'm playing this deck in the Fall Brawl. Please, listeners, do not play against me. But it's got 7 or 8 cards difference, which is like quite a lot for a combo deck like this. So it is pretty different, but it's still Feb. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm 3-1 right now, and it felt really good. The Zombies deck, shout out to Ben, and I'm going to butcher his last name, Pelsiger? Sure, let's go with that. Ben Pelsiger, who lost in the top 8 with Zombies this month. We chat a lot about Zombies. We have different ideas on how to play it, but he usually does better than me, so I try to listen to him. It's like, no, for real, he plays so much Zombies. He loves the deck, and he's really passionate and like has a lot of good ideas about it. He's done a lot of work in solving the slime matchup, which is really important because it's like the one matchup, which is really tricky. So I'm going to change up the Zombies list a little bit, especially the sideboard, after his advice, which I really like. And the Rock, I don't know, I'll put it away and take it out 6 months from now and change 2 cards depending on the metagame or something.
Sure.
It's usually just like you change some sideboard cards or whatever. I will never remove the bobs, no matter what you can say. It's really good. So I'm not gonna play Living Wish. It's thirdly. I like my build.
Cool. Well, congratulations to the both of you. Good job, Robin, taking it down. We're talking about your Cinderella story because I think you started off 0-3, like
0-3.
So it was quite the comeback.
3-3. No, then 2-3. Then I lost to Ron 2-4.
3-4 and snuck in, and then he took it all down. So
yeah, really, really well played there for the second half at least. No, but seriously, I guess my last question for you guys is: we've been talking in the group chat about doing a Premodern Showdown series Among Us game. So can we count on at least the 2 finalists to be in? I assume most people are, if not all of you will be in, but I'm hoping both of you will join us for that.
I'll do some prepping for when it happens.
Sure.
I'm short of time right now, but
yeah, that's fine. I know I
schedule it in advance.
I have played a couple games with Patrick already, and I know Robin had expressed interest before, so
I'm super excited to play. Like first, Michael, I may have said this to Jared before. Like Michael's the most stoic man I know, so playing against him in Among Us is gonna be really hard. So I have no fear. Like you don't get angry. Like you never get. You just be like, nope, wasn't me.
Are you talking about me or which Michael? There's a bunch of Michaels in our group.
That's true. I meant you.
Oh, okay.
Michael Arnold's pretty sus.
Sure.
Already.
All right.
Well, we definitely
just make sure you keep a detailed list of everything you did in the past.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, what did you do? And it's like,
I would say I know some people do actually take notes when they play that game. I thought about it, but I haven't done it yet. But it's fun. I have a 9-year-old daughter that I play with every now and then, or she'll play on random lobbies or whatnot. But she's starting to take an interest of it, and it's really cool because she can like play it. Obviously, maybe not to the depth of like something that I would do it to, but it's cool to enjoy a game that both my daughter and I can play and both enjoy really well. Because Magic's a little complicated for her at this point, but Among Us kind of hits that sweet spot.
We've got to make sure that Hoyp, Patrick, and Andrew all stream it when we do it, so we can have
different
chat
point of view.
Multiple streams.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you guys for hosting this.
Yeah.
Really, really fun. I might not look excited, but I'm just tired. It was super duper fun. I'm really glad that I got invited and turned out well.
Yeah.
And extra credit to Ron for being the real winner, because he probably won the most matches of anyone.
Sure. I think yes, he's still did.
He and I are tied because I won the semis against him.
You were 5-4, right? And he was 7-1-1.
Because I won 2 against Patrick.
Oh, okay.
We have an equal amount of match wins, but he definitely has a better win percentage than I have.
So you were 3-4 going in the finals, and then you won 3. So no, you were 6-4, and he was 7-1-1. Then, if you kind of he was 7-0-1. Yeah.
7.
So.
Oh, did we play 8 rounds?
No, we played. Oh no, he was 6. Oh, you're right. We only played 7 because there were 8 people total. So 6-0-1. Okay, so yeah. Sure.
But I had 4 losses and he had 0. So
sure. Okay. I don't know if that's much of a consolation for him. I mean, obviously he knew that he did well, and he did crush the round robin, and so that was it. And not to take away anything from you, Robin, but it was kind of like I felt bad for Ron because he performed so well, and then he just lost 0-2 against the zombie deck on Monday. So
zombies stepped up when I needed them.
Yeah,
it's fun. It was a pet deck when they started. Nowadays Feb is my pet deck, but when I signed up for this, it was zombies was the shit. So.
All right.
We'll have to change some notes. It's that deck.
All right.
Thanks for playing, guys. Thanks for being reliable, good sports, responsive, communicating, all of that stuff. All the stuff behind the scenes that the chat and people who watch the videos don't see. Like, you guys were awesome. So thanks again for playing, and congrats, Robin, and congrats, Patrick, as well. Right? Second place is still great. So well played to both of you guys.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Okay, we'll just take this moment. We were probably just reiterating things that we've already said, but we want to thank everyone who's been part of this effort in terms of our players, and then in terms of all our viewers and watchers. We really appreciate it. We've had a lot of fun putting this program together, and we're enjoying it, but we're doing it for you guys too. So we hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed playing it and presenting it. So We had a lot of fun, and hopefully we felt like the production quality got better, or Flint and I got a little used to chatting and doing commentary. So we would like to thank everybody. I really enjoyed everything. So thanks for the support in whatever way that you did with just tuning in, follows on the Twitch or YouTube channel, or even the subscriptions or donations that some of you were able to provide. We're really appreciative of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just echo that and say everything that Mike just said. Thank you, chat. Thank you, viewers.
All right, so that will conclude our first Premodern Showdown series. We would like to congratulate Robin on taking it down, and we hope that everyone enjoyed the program, and we will be doing a second Premodern Showdown series in the future. We are going to figure out some details, and we will release that information when it's available. So if you really like the series, don't fret. We will eventually have another one coming. So until next time, take care, guys.
Bye, everyone.